Good morning, everyone. It's Mutiny Ranch here again, Mutiny Kitchen. It's March 17th, 2020, and our governor has closed down bars, restaurants, gyms, those type of gathering places. So things are getting different out there these days. I've seen San Francisco's kind of on a lockdown, I believe. And the store shelves are empty in a lot of places. So I was talking to a friend in Florida, and her store shelves are pretty bare. Um, and in talking to people at the store, she was told that they're not going to be getting toilet paper anytime soon. So it sounds like there's some pretty good shortages out there. So I just wanted to show just a couple of things that might be good alternatives, maybe for you, if you have these things on hand. Um, or, once this passes, just to maybe um, start stocking your pantry over time just to make sure that you have some uh, good alternatives around just in case this happens again at some point. Plus, they're pretty good ways to reduce some of the plastic use out there. So, first thing, I don't know that people are running out of toothpaste, but if you are, you always know that you can use baking soda to brush your teeth. Um, and you can make your own toothpaste if you prefer a paste type. And a real basic one is just using baking soda. And if you're not allergic, then coconut oil. If you don't like the taste of coconut, you can get the refined coconut oil. So it says refined, and it goes through a process where it doesn't smell like coconut or taste like it anymore. I prefer a dry powder. Um, and here's a really simple one. If you have bentonite clay around. Um, if not, it's not necessary. Like I said, you can brush with just baking soda. But this one's pretty simple. In a jar, you just mix 6 tablespoons of the clay. And these don't have to be exact. It's more to just get everything in there and maybe have some taste. 1 tablespoon of baking soda. So be sure you know the difference between baking soda and baking powder. So a tablespoon of baking soda, and then we're going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon. I buy my cinnamon in bulk because I use a lot. Um, and you can get really good tasting cinnamon online. I will link to that, but of course use what you have in your house. So a tablespoon of cinnamon, and then cloves have been shown to be good for sensitive teeth. So if you've ever had a toothache and wanted a homemade recipe, you can hold not a ground clove, but a clove of, clove in your gum line. So wherever that tooth is that's hurting, you could also make a poultice from ground cloves if you only have ground cloves. So I'm also going to add a tablespoon of cloves, and that's, like I said, good for sensitive teeth. I like the taste of cloves. Of course, if you don't like cinnamon and you don't like cloves, you don't have to add these. And if you only have ground cloves, you can throw those into a blender or a coffee grinder and grind those up into a powder. And basically that's all that you would need. Just give your jar a little shake. This is just a recycled jar. Mix up your ingredients. This will kind of make your mouth turn brown while you're brushing, but washes right away. And then if you like, you can always add a couple of drops of liquid stevia or powdered, and just go light at first. Mine is, let's see, here we go. So 10 or so drops, and then you can try it out and give it a really good shake. Okay, you could use xylitol. I avoid xylitol in my house because it is toxic to dogs, and my dogs tend to get into things even if I think I put them away. So I'd rather just not have it in my house. So that's a tooth powder. Um, Definitely would recommend using a little spoon to wet your toothbrush. Use a little spoon to sprinkle this on rather than dipping your toothbrush in there, especially if you're feeling ill or you're sharing this with other people in your family, or especially during this time when germs are being passed and we don't want to do that. So the other thing is, I'm sure a lot of people are using tissues or paper towels as a replacement for toilet paper. Of course, be careful of septic systems and water treatment systems. Um, those things probably shouldn't be flushed. But one thing we do here, and I've been doing for a while, I posted about on Instagram earlier or late last year, or I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago, is I make my own tissues and unpaper towels. And what I did was I just got some flannel sheets from the thrift store for a couple bucks, and I just cut them up. And at first, I just did some scrap pieces for tissues. And this one I happened to add a little hem. It's not necessary, but my husband Clark said they were too small, so I threw in another jar, and these are just big squares. So to your liking, trust me, it feels nicer on your nose than tissues, paper tissues. And that frees up any of your paper products for other uses. And then I made unpaper towels, and you don't have to be this fancy. You could, of course, just use this as a paper towel and then wash it when you're done. But I made mine, I did two-sided and then kind of did a simple zigzag to kind of quilt them. So you could also use a towel and cut them up to use as paper towels. And here's a pile that I have. So I have a whole bunch more I could potentially make, but I feel like I have a lot right now, and so I won't bother with that. And they're simple, very simple to make. Like I said, you don't even need to hem them or quilt them. Just cut up some flannel or some terry cloth towels that you have, and use those instead of your paper towels, and save your paper towels for other needs. Um, Otherwise, like, we've added bidets to our 2 toilets. We did that 2 years ago, and it's really nice to have that attachment now. I did notice that the brand that we got is sold out on Amazon right now, due to the coronavirus and people being out of toilet paper, but might be something in the future you want to add if you don't have one already. Is a little bidet attachment. It was $25 and really simple to install. And with that, you could easily use these to dry and then throw them in the wash, um, and just keep reusing them. And so the other thing we've done for many years is use um, cloth napkins and another thing. So to not use paper products. Mainly it was to avoid using paper or one-time use things, especially since napkins usually come in plastic. Uh, so to avoid that, I've just bought a lot of these from like the thrift store. So super cheap, 25 cents or less each. But again, if you have the ability to either make some napkins out of something that you have around the house, you could easily use these as a napkin. That would free up your paper napkins, if you have them, for toilet paper if you need it. Again, I wouldn't flush that down the toilet, but you could set up a bucket or something to dispose of those later. But just eliminating the need for paper for some of the products that we use could free up other uses for those paper products. And or if you can't find these at the store right now, there are alternatives that might be laying around your house. So the other thing I need to thank Nikki Wynn for is a deodorant alternative. And I've actually been using this since September. It's Milk of Magnesia. It's just the regular liquid stuff. This is a store brand because it's going under my armpits. And she had told me about this in September, and I really dislike deodorant with aluminum, and I have tried, I feel like, every single natural deodorant out there with really poor results. Baking soda causes a rash under my arms. So I've been using this. It'll last me several days. You might still be able to find Milk of Magnesia in the store when you see deodorant aisles are picked over and empty. Or you may have some of this in your house already in your medicine cabinet. But if you're looking for an alternative to deodorant, Milk of Magnesia works great. This one's plain. I have even used the mint one without any adverse effects. So just a couple things that might be of interest, alternatives for you to use during this time. Hopefully you found that interesting, and as I figure out some more stuff or come up with things that we're doing around here, I will share it with you. So some are common sense, some might be things that you've overlooked, but I thought I'd share anyway. So everybody stay safe out there. Thanks for following us here at Tales from the Mutiny.